Good morning, Marcus Mumford.
Hello.
So we're at the Mercury Prize 2017, where you were a judge this year.
Yeah, member of the panel. I don't like the word judge, but yeah.
So what do you think it takes to be Mercury worthy?
I think it takes popularity in a room of people from various backgrounds in the music industry in the UK. So I think there's a lot of records that didn't make it that aren't lesser records because of it, and I'm a little bit bruised that some of my favourite records didn't make it on there, but I'm not allowed to talk about them. But in general, I think it's supposed to be a celebration of British music and a celebration of how productive our country is in making like great music happen, which is a cool thing. And I like the fact that we celebrate it and that we celebrate it on a global stage too. So yeah, I think a Mercury record is whatever that year's panel considers it to be. But what I like about it is that there's a lot of records on there from artists that people might not have heard of, and that's exciting to me because for whatever reason they haven't necessarily had the publicity that others have, and yet they get to be celebrated, and you know the word spreads about them.
And what would you say these records say about the last 12 months of British music?
I'd say there's been a migration away from guitar bands and towards urban music, British hip hop, which I think's amazing, and I would celebrate that. I mean, I'd like more guitar bands around. Noel Gallagher's got a lot to say on the subject. He doesn't even consider our band a guitar band, which is good. But it's, yeah, I think it's diverse, and I think I think it's good.
Do you think guitar music's healthy, or do you think people's tastes are leaning more towards the urban side of things at the moment?
Well, it's easier to make a song on a computer now than in a garage with instruments. I think that, and it's easier to make a really good song on a computer too. So it's not just, I don't think it's like laziness or anything. It's just like getting a bunch of people in a room to play instruments and spend their time rehearsing those instruments so that they're ready to record them is more challenging, because you can also just make a great record on a computer quickly. And I don't know how I feel about that, because at the moment I'm tempted to make, because I really enjoy making songs in a computer as well, as lots of people do. But it takes longer to sit there and rehearse and argue about chords rather than just have it kind of on a computer that you can suddenly listen to and you can get your feedback really quickly, as opposed to going through a process. So I don't know. And then you listen to records like Sanford's, you're like, that's, he's an instrumentalist and obviously, brilliant in the other stuff too. So, I don't know, it's an interesting time.
But Mumford aren't going to go Kid A just yet.
I don't know, man. I don't know what we're doing. It's going to be fun though.
So you guys just headlined Latitude with your takeover. How was that?
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. We had a good, lineup, and we really enjoyed curating it. And it was a bit like this, curating a lineup of interesting bands that you like. It was, it was good. It was fun.
And is it back to the drawing board for the next record now?
No, we've got a bunch of songs, but we're just writing more.
Where do you think you want to take your sound next, or is it dependent on what happens in the room?
Yeah, it's dependent on what happens in the room. It's dependent on what we're listening to. I think you always play what you're listening to, or try to anyway. And we're all listening to different things. So we're at the start of the process, really. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
And lyrically, is it very personal to you, or are you inspired by this horrible dystopian nightmare we find ourselves living in?
Well, that is personal. I take a lot of that personally. So, yeah, we'll see.
Marcus, thank you very much for your time. All the best. Cheers.